through that with one of my wireless companies. 2008, you got 2018 where we had the economics pullback, and then you got COVID. And if you look at that, that's 4 times in the last 20 years. It's not a matter of if, it's when.
Right.
And so as a coach, we're able to really kind of identify as an objective perspective, right? Here's what we see that you may or may not see in your own business. And we can help them identify with those gaps and opportunities.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got a ton of experience, a lot of different sectors, a lot of different business sizes.
Yes.
A lot of different industries. So I
Yep,
can see how that could be really beneficial. One of the things that you mentioned was, business owners are really great at running the part of the business that they're passionate about and with their expertise, but there's so many different parts of running a business that it, definitely pays to, bring in an expert that has that, expertise and, those abilities and that experience. And to be able to, run a holistic business that's going to be successful, to go through those, issues and problems and, those 2008s and, all of that as we move forward. So that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, just like you, I have, I kind of did the corporate side of things and did the side hustle kind of on my own. I started my industry with Amco transmissions back in the day when you looked for a job in the newspaper. So it says, looking for somebody that's good with numbers and good with people. I'm like, oh, well, that's me. I started that day, became the manager within 2 weeks, and basically looked at it as from an outsider. I wasn't a car girl. I didn't really know what I was doing in the whole thing. Really had probably no place being there in the first place. But I figured, you know what? I would go in there, personality blaring, and if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. So with that, found a startling statistic my first week. The average transmission breaks down every 7 years. So no matter how great I was, no matter my customer service, no matter all the warm and fuzzies, I might get their wife's car or their neighbor's car if I was lucky. So that really led me to creative problem solve from the very beginning of my career. And I think that's one of my biggest strengths. AMCO led me to be a national award-winning sales manager. I was brought in to do kind of like Nicole's shop nightmares instead of Gordon Ramsay's kitchen nightmares.
Right.
So I'd go in and say, okay, was it really the technicians like everybody said that it was? Or was it the branding? Was it, them not marketing appropriately? Was they not doing any outside sales or any of those sort of prospecting? And then further, was it actually the manager or the owner not understanding like how to franchise and what those responsibilities actually meant?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, while I was doing that and, doing the corporate thing, all that, I started a ghostwriting career. So I'd go in and make content and write books and courses and all of that kind of stuff. So that same sort of, working in the front and having the day job, but, that side hustle, side of things too. And, I've worked in multiple industries. I was in a really bad car accident. So I pivoted from, transmissions and AMCO and all of that into the medical industry. And then, I was doing great. Everything was fantastic. Moving on up. I, kind of worked from the bottom in a medical lab, aliquoting medical samples for testing. Very gross. But within 3 years, I was back to running national companies, specifically mental health and medical device spaces. I was running a clinic, and then COVID happened. And it was a multidisciplinary, multi-provider clinic, and nobody knew what was going on. And I swear I worked 3 years in that 1 year period and just got burnt out. And so with that, kind of did the same thing. I said, okay, well, you know what? I've made millions of dollars for other people. Why couldn't I figure out a way to do it for myself?
Right.
So with that, business coaching in a lot of different industries, the same, sort of thing, they're really great at what they're passionate about and, doing the thing, but, running the business and doing all of the extras can be a really big burden. And
Absolutely.
Especially if they don't have that expertise, that knowledge, that wisdom at times to be able to, make those decisions, having a business coach can be invaluable for them. So we have officially partnered.
Yep.
And as of March 1st, and, my goal is to help to kind of give another avenue for, answering questions and, that whole bit. But, and you're running this 5.5 years business from your start to now. What have you learned? What are some tidbits that you could share, some zingers that could help potential business owners to either one, consider a coach, or maybe two, realize that, hey, maybe they do need one after all.
Yeah. If I could figure that one out, we got the next $1 billion business.
Indeed.
I would say that's a great question. I think that the biggest opportunity that I identify with our clients is getting them to realize that they don't know what they don't know. right? We say it at anybody who services a business owner, anybody who's in the space of serving business owners. I don't care if you're payroll, merchant services, whatever your category you serve, that you're serving business owners. The common phrase is they don't know what they don't know. And that actually works really poorly for the business owner because they don't know what they don't know, and they're so busy doing what they do know, which is what they should be good at, right? Whatever that skill or task that they have. Yep. The challenge is, in my opinion, many of them get taken advantage of for service solutions, for vendor solutions. It's just, and I hate to call it out, but it's there and it exists. And they overpay for things that they shouldn't have to pay for or as much for. They don't get the solutions because they don't know what to ask. They haven't experienced it. And I think that I go back and I look at my career and all the things that I did in the wireless industry, and I personally opened like 125 stores over all those years. And you learn a lot doing that, right? Because you're constantly problem solving all the time. Yep. And so for me, and I think that I even took that for granted as I brought in other coaches, I don't think that they all had the same level of problem solving that I did, right? You and I have had that conversation before. You did that with AMCO too. Yeah. It's like, here are the gaps, here are the opportunities, here's the things that I see that are wrong, and here's how I'm going to fix it because I've seen it before, right? And many times for the entrepreneur or for the small business owner, this is the first time they've seen it. They've not seen it and at some other level. And because we had the corporate career and then mix that with entrepreneurship, I think the unique perspective that it provides both of us is the idea to see, maybe I didn't see this exact example, but I saw something very similar, right? My first coaching session with a digital marketing agency, he was a young man, ran a really nice business, was doing well for himself. He had added employees, and he's like, hey, I could use a coach. I can't really afford it. So we did a trade of service, and I did it because I needed to learn more about digital marketing. And so the very first coaching session, I showed up at 8 o'clock on a Friday morning at his office, and he is just freaking out. And I'm like, you okay? Everything okay? He's like, I just switched payroll or credit card processing companies, and it's the same company that's doing our payroll. And I just switched everything over.